Okay, we should be live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. First in the chat today was Craig Lilly. Followed by Chris from Coalition Gaming. What up, y'all? Kale130. Whoa! Whoa. Kale1303. What is up with that change? Where did that 3 come from, Kale? What up, Tavian? What up, Star? Funny, Woot had the 360 Frozen Knot for $30 yesterday. Dang it! I should have waited for that one. Prime Big Day deals, you let us down. You're supposed to have the best deals. Nah, it's fine. Um, let's see. YouTube seems broken tonight. It keeps crashing. Interesting. Are you guys watching on mobile or on desktop? Can vouch for the Thermalright AIO. Bought it for my nephew for $50 on Amazon, which is normal price. We didn't get the Thermalright one. We got the Dark Flash one because it was slightly cheaper. So I have actually. Let me grab the box. We'll wait to unbox it. But I got the box right here. It actually came the next day. So I think it was supposed to. So we ordered it Wednesday night. It said 2 days and it estimated Friday initially, but then it actually came the next day on Thursday. So we shall open this once everyone is here, and I got the test bench all set up and all that stuff. And let me make sure the test bench scene. Hello. There we go. So I forgot. That I could just use my test bench. I was thinking of doing like a motherboard on my table, but then my actual test bench system itself is where is it? Yeah, it's like an all Corsair out system. So I already had a 360 AIO in there. So yeah, this will be interesting. You don't always get what you pay for. I think Arctic is best on market right now, and Thermalright are very good for the price. I sold all my Corsair stuff because IQ is annoying. IQ, I swear, I don't know how to still fully use it after all these years, and I'll show you once we get into it because the IQ, I do like the IQ Link where everything is hooked up to like one cable running from part to part because it drastically reduces the number of cables that you have to manage RGB and fan wise. But the software, in my opinion, is not intuitive. I feel like they could improve it a lot. Like every time I don't use it for a few months at a time and I get back to it, I'm like, wait, how do I use IQ again? It is that unintuitive. I don't use it on a day-to-day basis. Like it's not in my own system and stuff. So yeah, I get you on that. What up, Stang? Wait. Yeah, Stang. You see Stang's name with the QB? Is that what you mean by YouTube is broken? Is that why everyone's name is kind of weird? Well, other people's names are fine. But Stang and Kale had a slight name change. The handles make no sense at all. More so, or if they are totally different from. Oh, okay, gotcha. You can turn the handles feature off. Oh, that's what you guys were talking about. It's why the hell they switch it back to the handles? Okay, let me. That's what it is. Okay, sorry, I'm getting caught up in chat. How do I fix that on my end? Customization, live chat summary, live chat replay, subscribers, live reaction, slow mo. Nope, it is not on in my stream options. Maybe it's in my YouTube in general options. Live commentary, what is that? Okay, nope. Yeah, it looks like multiple people. Word up, Reluctant Hero is having issues. What up, Mag? Um, TJ says $37 AIO. Yeesh. Results are gonna be super interesting for this one. I think it's kind of like the Thermalright air coolers, where before them and some of the other budget coolers came around, people were kind of used to paying closer to 35, $40 for a tower cooler. And then they came around and basically slashed the price in half and showed that you can do it just as good for a lower price. So, if I had to make a prediction, I'm going to think we're going to be within like 3 degrees between the premium Corsair AIO versus the cheapo $37 one. And it's not always $37. I'll pull up the product page later. I think it went back up to its normal price of 70 something, which at 70 something dollars, might as well just buy an Arctic from a more reputable brand. I got an insane deal. Bought a 3070 laptop Legion 5 Pro for $400. That is a really good deal. Yeah, Legion 5 Pros. Which version do I have? I think I have the 3060 model. Non-Pro. Just a normal Legion 5 from that generation. Can't watch videos nor live streams. What? Oh no. Okay. We do have way lower than normal viewership right now, and I wonder if that's due to it. Are we having problems? What up, Pete Dunn? Hello, Robert Fixit. Okay. Brother, I can't see the video. Well, oh my goodness. Can you hear? What the heck is going on? But so some people in the chat can hear, it seems. So I'm only talking to like half the chat. Let me see. Let me see. Bro, YouTube. Y'all killing me. Why couldn't you mess up the day before or the day after? It has to be on Wednesday? Really? We'll give it a little bit. Yeah, we'll give it a little bit. In the meantime, YouTube been acting up for the past couple of hours? I haven't been on YouTube, so I was not aware. You can you please hide the lag switch from the twins? What is happening? Okay. I think we're good-ish. Hopefully. YouTube is messed up tonight. I don't know. We might have to hold this. Depending on if people can see. Everything's fine. People are saying it's fine. My keyboard is the Keychron K4. Let me pull it up. Keychron. It's pretty affordable, and it's a very compact layout with a 10 key. I can't use keyboards without 10 keys, so I need my numpad, but it gets rid of like all that weird space that you usually have around like insert home and stuff like that. It's 100 keys, so not what is a typical keyboard, 104, but yeah. And then I switched the keycaps on it, and they're brown switches, and then I looped them the lazy way. Viewers have doubled last few minutes. Yeah. So it looks like the viewership is more to a normal number. We usually start around 70 or 80 people and then pick up as the stream goes on. But it seems like we're good. Everyone good? Good now. Yeah, now we live. Now we actually live. It's funny when something like this happens, everyone starts resetting everything and reloading over and over. Probably breaks the server even further. Yeah. Just adding more load to it. Danny, would you have survived the prison riot in Mayor of Kingstown? Ooh. I feel like if I was in prison, I would definitely want to make friends with people. And I feel like I'm pretty personable, right? So even though I might not be like the biggest person in the prison yard, I could probably hang out with the right crowd to at least have a good chance of survival. Wait, how many seasons have there been? Is there a new season right now? I think I only watched the first 2. But if there's a new season, I need to get caught up. Or I might have watched the first 3, actually. Yeah, I think I watched the first 3 seasons. Season 4 is coming up soonish, it looks like. Head of the prison computer club. Yeah. So have you guys noticed issues with YouTube all day? I actually have not been able to watch or be on YouTube at all. We've been doing stuff with the girls all day, so. What do red switches sound like? Ooh, where's my thing? I have a key switch. I could show you guys if I could find that thing. I have a like sample switch thing, but I have no idea where it is. It has like blue, black, red, and brown on it. Can I find it? Doesn't look like it. It's around here somewhere. If I find it, I'll show you. But what do reds sounds like? There's less of a click. You don't have as distinctive a click. Blue is the clickiest. Brown is kind of like a muddied click, and then black and red, it just sounds like the keys bottoming out. We back. What up, Dimitri? Peckish, keep in mind switches don't change the entire noise. Yeah, you gotta do like the rest of the body. Like if you have foam underneath, O-rings, the keycaps themselves. Some people fill them. It's a whole thing. I am too lazy to do any of that. Though a company reached out recently wanting to send me something, but I'm like, I don't do keyboard reviews. I'll unbox it on a stream and mess around with it and thawk it up, but I'm not gonna make a dedicated video on it. You're debating getting red switch keyboard? Yeah, so red switches, I think people like them just because it's completely linear the whole way through, so there's no change in the feel or for the bump for the actuation. I would say order from Amazon with free returns, so you could try it out, and if you don't like it, then you can easily return it. I think for me, I'm not particularly picky. I can type on any type of keyboard, and I have. I've used black, blue, red, and browns, and I just prefer brown, but it doesn't mean the other ones are unusable or bad. Doback slaps with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Doback. How you doing? The one that the company that reached out, as we just keep on hanging out to make sure the stream is all good to go. Keycaps keyboard. They're boasting the ceramic keycaps. What brand was it? Let me look up my email. Ceramic. Oh, it was a Keychron. Okay, let me see. This one. They have a Kickstarter for it. Should I just tell them, like, hey, I'll unbox it on stream? Look at this thing. Ceramic keys. This thing just seems like it would be heavy because of that. Magnetic switches. Is that like the equivalent of a Hall effect keyboard then? Everyone always likes the blue ones. Yep, my first mechanical blue keyboard was blue. Or blue switches. Not blue like this. This thing is so shiny. I'm surprised that they didn't... Because I feel like Hall effect is kind of like a buzzword. And I'm surprised they didn't put that here. Because I hear people when they're talking about like gaming controllers and stuff like that, they say Hall effect more often than they say magnetic. Oh, that's what the HE. Good point. It says HE, okay? I didn't even notice the HE, to be honest. I noticed the gosh, dang it. The model name more so, because like mine is the K4, probably has like BT and stuff because it has Bluetooth and wireless as well. What is the 8K polling rate? Okay. It's nice, but so Q12. Which one's the Q12? Is it similar? Nope. Oh, I don't know how I would feel about opposite numpad. I have a 30% board. What is a 30%? What are we talking about here? What does a 30% board look like? Oh, so it's just like the gaming side. Actually, these are kind of different. But how do you use this? Well, so you're saying 30% is just a numpad. When I look up 30% keyboard, I'm not finding just numpad. I'm finding like missing P, Uh, unless these are like custom 30s. Like this rapid trigger 30 is coming up quite a bit. Like just one half. 30% is not just a numpad. Well, so what is 30% supposed to be? It's looking. So this 30% has the P on it. If you look at this picture, that's kind of hard to see. But then like this one, it's missing. Where is it missing? The Q, the P, A. So it's missing like and Z. Okay, yeah, it's missing the whole like right edge on both sides. It's a one-handed board. So are you supposed to use it with another 30% on your other hand? Like, how can you type full sentences when you're missing clearly some letters? Though this might not be a real 30%. It seems like this one might be a real 30 that only has the no space bar. What? Is there a standard for this? You only use it for gaming, identical to the pink one? Okay, I've seen it reminds me of a split keyboard basically. Okay, if this is what a 30 is, then this makes sense to me. And yes, if it's only used for gaming. But some of these other ones where it goes across the row, this must be something custom. There's no standard? Okay, it must be so niche that people just decide whatever the heck they want to do. Okay, so it seems like we're good to go. Viewership is back to normal. Everyone can see me, right? Everyone can see and hear me, right? Stream's good to go. Because I think this is actually going to take longer than I expect. And I can't be streaming for like 4 hours tonight. So we got to get this done. Okay. So, as the title says, last week there was Amazon Big Deal Day, which is Amazon Prime 2, whatever you want to call it. We picked up this cooler based on majority donation by the viewers. After YouTube cuts and stuff, I still had to I had to cover the probably a quarter of it. But thank you to everyone who donated to and forcing me to basically test this on stream. But this is the Dark Flash DNA 360A. It right now it's going for $76. We got it for essentially half the price. Which I mean, real quick, I want to see like 360 AIO right now without any like Prime Day deals. Like, what is the cheapest one we can find? The Knot from Thermalright. So this is seemingly always around 50 to 60 bucks. Is there any other cheaper ones? $50 Thermalright. Oh my god, it just keeps on going down with Thermalright. I mean, I'm sure the pumps are slightly different and everything, aesthetics and all that, but I'm just caring mostly about the 360 Rad. That kind of grouped them together. Let me look at the lowest priced one. Craig Lilly with the 5 Nerd Budget gifted memberships. Thank you, Craig Lilly. So lowest price indeed is $50. So we can consider what we got kind of a deal. Let me unbox it. Amazon got that Thursday night football. Oh, that's upside down. Thursday night football packaging. Because yeah, they host Thursday night football now, right? Or they broadcast it. Amazon making big moves in the streaming side of things as well. I mean, they've already been having big moves when they have like exclusive shows and all of that, but football I feel like is a big one. I forget, have they done boxing yet? Any like major boxing matches? But okay, wow, look how gamery this is. So here it is, DNA 360A. Let's unbox it, and then we're gonna have to put it to the side because we have to test the Corsair first. Hot take, I like the aesthetics of dual tower air coolers over AIOs. Oh, time to do a poll. Start a poll. AIO tower coolers. Let's see what we got in the chat. As I unbox this thing. But what character? This looks like a combination of like 2B and Tracer, and maybe it's just some just generic Android slash, you know, futuristic white-haired gamer girl character. But let's get this thing open. Let me see if I can get... Nope, don't track me. Nope, okay, you're doing the wrong thing. You're doing the wrong thing. Here, I'm going to bring it down here. World records are on air now, not AIO or liquid debacle. World records? Which air cooler specifically? Wait, on air. Are world records not, are we like counting not liquid nitrogen? I like both AIO and air coolers, but do prefer AIO. I hate AIOs because you gotta plug in like the USB to control. Actually, that's only for the more fancy ones with RGB and stuff like that, I guess. But still, AIOs, I feel like it's just more complicated because there's more like screws in general to put in, the brackets. Yeah, it's usually like 4 thumb screws or 4 screws on the bracket, whereas a lot of AIOs are like, I guess a lot of Thermalright's one. The final screw down of the tower is 2 points. Okay. Air coolers more reliable. That is one of the main reasons I like them. They're cheaper in general. Less points of failure. I think they look cool. Ooh, this actually has the nice compressible foam. Let's pull this thing out. I mean that you can't have a leak in the air cooler camp, yeah. Even though I have to say, I've built plenty of systems with AIOs in the past. And I have personally never experienced a leak, nor have any of the systems I have built for friends and families with AIOs have ever experienced a leak. Okay, so let's pull out the main component, which is the rad, and the fans are pre-installed, which I like because I'm lazy. Alright, so here it is with the RGB and everything. I'm not going to plug in the RGB because we're going for the performance here. Okay, no, I take that back. We gotta see how this thing looks, actually, for that $37 value. Because these translucent RGB fans might blow me away or something, I don't know. So here it is. Let me try to show it. So there is the rad and fans, and here is the pump, which is kind of chunky. Look how tall this thing is. With the mirror finish right there, yeah. Can you... right there on the camera. Alright, so typical AIO, nothing super special about it. Oh my god, look at this. So the pump has a separate RGB connector right there. And then, do each of these fans have an RGB, or they... Oh! So, I guess, nice thing about this, I'm not sure, it's kind of hard to see because it's black, but the fans are chained together. You see these wires right here? Kind of hard to see, but oh, right there. Like this connector chains. So it looks like everything is chained together, like the game. So this one's not too bad in terms of connectors. Yeah, coming off the one single fan at the end here, you have your RGB, this last fan. So all linked together. Last fan has the RGB and then the PWM. And then this thing, is this the actual pump? This actually might be the pump right here. Yeah, this has to be the pump. This is just a block. So, sorry. I should not call... I'm so used to calling these the pump blocks. This is just the copper block, I guess you can call it. The pump itself, because the connector for it is right here, it's this thing. So the pump... Okay, let me think about this. In terms of how I'm going to have to orient this thing. Because you want the pump not at the highest point. So I'm... Oh, gosh. Huh. Is that a fan? Let me see. Okay. So let's take a look at this, right? If this thing right here, which I'm pretty sure... Yeah, this is the pump. You can see this connector coming off of it. Technically, wouldn't running it like either this or this be bad because the pump is at the highest point where you could get air bubbles? Right? So, I'm going to have to do it like this. Based on, if we look at the test system. If we look at the test bench, the only... I mean, actually, I take that back. I can just... go back. I can just install it and just have it sitting downwards like this, technically. I was just going to try to mount it up top because that's where the Corsair one is mounted. So when I take it out, that's where there's going to be an open space. But it doesn't really matter. I could just hold it outside the case as well. As long as I track ambient temperature and that doesn't change, then it's all the same. Because none of the other case fans are running. So, all right. I think we're good there. Let me take a quick look at the mounting brackets and stuff like that. Just because... is this going to be like a bunch of standoffs and stuff like that? Oh boy. Fun. I mean, technically you have to deal with these with air coolers too, but... LGA. Please tell me this uses the stock AMD backplate so that all I have to do is put some standoffs. Oh, AMD standoffs. Here we go. Yeah, so it looks like... Oh. So, yeah. I just put these standoffs in the stock backplate on the motherboard and then put some... and then... Actually, it looks like it might just go straight onto... Yeah, to the circular piece that I click on. Got it. Alright, we're good. But first, we gotta test the Corsair system. It was tested by Jay. Wait, say it again. What are we saying here? It was tested by Jay. You want it at the highest point? I thought... Oh, sorry. I mixed the two up. You're right. You do want air at the highest point. I thought... Except you don't want air in the pump. Which at this one would be... The pump would be at the highest point with air in the pump. In 2 out of the 3 configurations you could run it. Or 2 out of the 4. Right? Yeah, sorry. I misspoke earlier. You do want air at the top and the pump lower than the air. But this one, it's a little bit different because the pump isn't in the block. The pump is at the barbs. The thermal right one, where's the pump located? I'm actually not sure. I don't know if we can tell by the picture. In the thermal right one, they're showing this picture water block, and then they're talking about the pump speeds and stuff here. So I'm thinking the Thermalright, actually, yeah, the Thermalright one doesn't look like there is room for a pump up there. They would have thought about that engineering. I mean, you would think so. That would make every AIO, if they would have thought about it, be mountable in any orientation. And at the end of the day, it's not like it won't work. It'll either cause noise or more wear and tear, I guess. Was that the conclusion from the whole? Remember that whole series? What was that, 3 or 4 years ago, when that became a big thing that people kept on arguing about? It's not like it's not going to get the water, the warm water in, or the cool water in, or liquid, not even water, the cool liquid in, and then warm out to the radiators. Check pump speed to actual temperature difference means the pump might spin fast, not moving. Check pump speed to actual temperature difference. Yeah, so let me show you the test system. So here's the test system with the Corsair already in. I'm thinking I might have to do Cinebench because as we can see, you guys can see decently well, right? So as you can see, I'm running a Ryzen 7400F. For those of you unfamiliar with this processor, it is similar to the very popular 7500F, except the thermal interface material is not soldered, the IHS, to the die. Instead, it's thermal paste, like literal thermal paste that you would put between your cooler and your CPU or on your GPU and stuff like that. So it's not as effective at transferring the heat, which is why, as you can see for the temperatures, and this is why I specifically chose this processor, I chose it for this test because I wanted a processor that runs hot. This one sitting at idle, the system is idle right now. There's nothing, let me show you. Where's Task Manager? So if we look at Task Manager, nothing's going on right now except for hardware info, IQ, and that's it. So very little going on in the system, essentially sitting at idle, and it's already sitting at 50. The 7500F runs about 10 degrees hotter. So if this was a the 7400F runs about 10 degrees hotter than the 7500F. So that's why it's sitting at around 50 instead of about 40 idle. And we have IQ up right here. Full load firm arc and change the pump speed slowly higher. For this Corsair, so the Corsair, I'll show you. How many of you have like seen IQ before, or who hasn't seen it? What I don't like about IQ is, so here's your dashboard. You can take a look at like temperatures and stuff like that, and then you go to home. What I don't like is, if I wanted to go to cooling, like, I could click on the fan and click cooling here, or I can click on the actual pump and click on cooling here. Why is there like two different I guess components that you could click on that then goes to lighting effects and then, or to this list, and then you have to click on cooling here? I don't know. This interface to me is just not intuitive. Instead of separating it by components like this, there should just be a list that says cooling, lighting, etc. You click on what you want to work on, and then you go to the components. Leading it by components first, to me, is odd. Like, but I guess you could go either way with these two. So we're going to look at cooling. So the Corsair, if we look at the pump, in terms of the RPMs that it can run at, it's not that wide of a range. Let me run it at quote unquote quiet mode. So quiet mode runs at, let's see, like the range of it, so 2400 ish, right? I was just gonna run it at the pump at max, and I was gonna vary the fan speed because, so here's quiet mode, about 2400 RPMs. I'm gonna go to extreme, and we'll see what it goes up to. Natterman, no Craigslist videos lately. Just been super busy with the girls as well as weather starting to suck. So I don't know how many Craigslist pickups I'm gonna have in the fall and winter season. It's not like I'm gonna have none, but I definitely pick up more in the spring and summer. And we've just passed that. So all right, max pump speed is just shy of like, I don't know why it says max 3,000 up here, but I mean, it's really running at up to like 2,800. So it's about 2,400 to 2,800. I was just gonna run it at max. In terms of AIOs, don't most motherboard BIOS presets running the pump to 100%, or is that a thing in the past? I remember it was always kind of a rule of thumb to run your pump speed at 100%. Especially, I mean, the range of this isn't even that much. I mean, it's 400 RPMs, but I think just for the sake of saving time, the pump at the max speed isn't even that loud. To me, the fans usually make more noise. So instead of having a matrix of like a million different configurations, I'm saying we fix the pump speed at the max that both these coolers can run at. And then we play with 50% fan speed versus 100% fan speed. And then we measure the noise from that. And we got to let it like, sit and normalize temperature wise. So that's why I don't think I'm going to mess with pump speed. Guys, this isn't meant to be like a complete science project in the span of now we have less than an hour and a half to get this done. It seems like Brian has a strong opinion on it, and then who else? Pumps. When you say pumps do not run at 100, do you mean like actual 100%, or do you mean when I'm saying 100, I mean like that the software allows you to? It might say it's 100, but be like below what actual 100 is, just for longevity and stuff like that. So, okay, I need to close the door because we need actual quiet if we're going to measure sound. Okay. So I do have, where is my, I swear, it was just here. Where is my, there it is. Okay. So I do have a noise meter. It is not the most scientific thing in the world. We are not testing this in a foamed out acoustic chamber, right? This is quite literally like the jankiest low budget way of testing this. But this, I mean, you can see. So it is picking up a change in sound level. How accurate it is, it will be accurate enough, or it will be inaccurate or accurate enough to be able to tell the differences between two products. So I'm going to measure, we're going to be very quiet right now. I'm going to measure 1 foot away from the fans, or just from the system in general. I'm going to measure it to keep it, I'm going to measure on the table to keep it apples to apples. And I'm going to write all this down, but I got to be quiet right now to get the noise level. $45.4. So I have everything written out. Okay, ambient idle noise level 45.4. Okay, let me get, so this is all 50% fan speed. So we're first going to test the Corsair AIO at 50% fan speed. Yes, Nobe is not Gamers Nexus. I don't have that kind of time, nor do I really care about, like, you can get a good enough answer doing it this way. I don't need like a multi-$1,000 acoustic chamber and all that stuff. That's nice to know, and it is fun, like, scientifically. But you can use your ears and eyes for and do it like not what's it called? and not go overboard with it. Okay, idle CPU temp. We're just gonna go. There's like multiple CPU die. This CPU right here is the actual highest temperature among the CPU sensors on the die. So I'm gonna let it average real quick for like, I don't know, 15 seconds. It's been sitting at idle for a while, so there's nothing to, we don't have to wait too long. It's gonna be 50, maybe 50 point something, but we're gonna call this 50 right here. And then I got what's the ambient? We got ambient right here, 22.1 C. In case there's a delta, the room gets warm due to this testing or something. I don't know. Idle CPU 50 C. All right. And then we need load noise level. Okay. This is dBA. Testing on a budget, exactly. Okay, so we're gonna do Cinebench because I'll show you what happens when we run Prime, right? We can run Prime small FFTs. That's the maximum power and heat and CPU stress. So we're gonna run this. We're gonna keep all this fixed. Pump is at the extreme. I should probably specify that 2800. Extreme 2800 RPM. Okay. And then the fan speeds actually, those are running about 1210 RPM. I gotta take as much information down because once I take this Corsair AIO out, I'm not putting it back in. Like, we have to get everything like written down now because I'm not gonna be able to quickly get the information if I need it later. Oh, is this running yet? Okay. So, let me see what the... So, this is running at, I think, the low end. What is the... So, 7400F AMD. This thing... So max boost is 4.7. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna write down the clock speeds because max boost. What? You're not expected to run at max boost for all core workload like this. But so the max operating temperature of the CPUs is 95. The reason I don't want to run it towards that because even though it says it's not thermal throttling, it is hitting the thermal limit. So we can do this one of two ways. We run it at a lower load so that we don't hit the max temperature and see the difference between the two. Or we hit the max and we just have to write down what the, average clock speeds between the cores are. I'm going to reset the timer just so that we can... It's pretty much... There's no need to wait. We've hit the max temperature. Though it's not throttling hard. Like 4.2 gigahertz. I guess they don't really tell you what the... They tell you the max boost clock. The base is 3.7. So, I mean... Hard to say if this is... really thermal throttling. It's hitting the max temperatures, but it's not dialing the clock speeds down to a level where I would call it throttling. So I'm gonna base it off of these numbers right here. And yeah, we're looking at like 422. This one core is averaging a little bit lower. But I would say on average across all 6, calling it 4. Let's see. So 422, 422. We have some. Yeah, 4225. Okay. So temp under load. I mean, we're hitting 95. So looking at the temp isn't going to tell us much. But now we're going to have to put... and it is pretty quiet. And because because we fixed everything, there is no noise level change. Yeah, so why do we even have this line? Well, I'm just gonna put this for now. Okay, I guess when we increase the fan speeds, we'll see if it could push higher clock speeds. So I think we're good on there. So we'll go to 100% speed now. And I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but we'll look at the RPMs ramp up from, it was what, like 1200-ish? So ambient is still 22.1. I'm just going to copy this over here. There is no idle CPU temp because now it's under load. No idle noise level 2. Can you guys hear the fan at all? So noise level definitely went up. So it was 45.4 dBA, now 56.7. Now let's take a look at some of those temperatures as it's still running. I'm going to reset the average timer. So temperature under load is still, yep, 95. I guess 95.5 to be more accurate on both of these. And now let's take a look at the clock speeds. I'll let it average out a bit more. Yeah, so Prime will make it hit limit every time, but that's where I was going with the, we're probably not going to be able to see a temperature difference, but we might be able to see a clock speed difference. If one of the coolers was that much worse, it will actually throttle and run lower than what we're seeing here. This is... Yep, it is definitely blowing warm air out. Oh, Brian, the 114%. That might be a... I wonder... Wait, it can go above 100%, but it might be capped in Task Manager to 100. Utilization reported by Task Manager. No, well, yeah, they were right. It would be capped in Task Manager. Look, we paid for the whole CPU. We're going to get the whole CPU and beyond, okay? So this is strange. Because I'm going to reset the average again. We are seeing a slightly higher clock speeds. Because we are seeing stuff in the 4.3 something now on some of the cores and threads. Actually, more of them than not are at least 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like 4 out of the 6. No, 3 out of the 6 are above 4 now. Yeah, I think I might have to try Cinebench. I don't think Prime's gonna work. All right, let me quickly, let's see how quickly the temperature drops. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do Cinebench. I don't think Prime, I don't think you will always hit max temp in Prime, to answer your question. If you have capable cooling, I think it is possible to run Prime. I guess I could run one of the different Prime 95 tests. That is not as crazy hot, because I ran the max temperature one, but I think with Cinebench it might just be easier. Wait, where's Cinebench? I thought, alright. Okay, we're gonna run. We're not gonna run it like. We'll do the testing throttling, yes, and we'll do the multi-core. I'm gonna have to redo the other. Actually, let's just do it now. We're gonna run these at 50% again. All right, it's gonna get quiet, but I already have the noise levels, so we can keep that. Yeah. No, yeah. The no solder is probably what's killing it. Okay. Let's let the temperature get back down to... Yeah, that was pretty fast. It's already back down to the baseline 50. Okay. So... we will run Cinebench. Yep, temperatures are good to go. Technically, the liquid could be slightly warmer, but when you run this for all long enough, it'll all... wash out. So let's see what we get with the multi-core. Let's see how quickly this ramps up. Is this going to hit 95 as well? It hits 95 at 50% fan speed. But look at the clock speeds. So this is a big difference. Now everything's running at 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. So if we reset this, yeah, 4.5, 4.6. So I think we'll have more range to work with here in terms of if we'll see any clock speed differences if the temperature is maxed out. And we'll do the 100% fan speed. But we've maxed out the temp. I'm going to let this run for a little bit. I don't understand why there exists an AM5 6-core without a soldered IHS. Is usable. While we wait for this to run, we can go over to the browser. So we look at Nerd on a budget, Ryzen 7400F. Not everybody is going to be throwing all-core workloads at their PCs, right? Like, if you're just using this to game, which I do have the video... Where the heck is it? Here it is. So we take a look at why didn't they solder it? Well, it is a cheaper thing. So, I mean, cost savings, right? That's what it comes down to. Why is there a difference between the two? But like, okay, let's take a look at any of these games, the temperatures running in it. So 61 versus 52. So in gaming, yeah, when you game, you're not using your full CPU. Like, you know, you're using... So, Cyberpunk is pretty CPU intensive. You run like 70% load on a 6-core processor. So yeah, 58 versus 72 degrees. Now, we're still very far from 95 degrees. And even running the game long, like, let me see which one's my longer benchmarks. Like, God of War Ragnarok. This one, you know, it's a longer benchmark run. Like this, it's sitting at 65 degrees. It's not as good as 54 over here, but it's usable. So I'm not saying that I would ever want a CPU that, you know, isn't soldered, but there are people who could probably use this and not even know that there's technically a inferiority to their CPU. It's insane how much hotter at 300 megahertz less. Yeah. And this was running at the 4.5 or 4.7 boost, right? So let's go back over to the test bench. I think we're pretty much activate Windows. I just installed. Wait, this is weird. I've used Windows 11 on this motherboard before. Why is it not already activated? This is my test bench motherboard. This is weird. I've done both Windows 10 and 11 testing and have it activated. So why did this come up? But okay. Performance-wise, so we are hitting 95. The noise levels, we're going to keep the same. We're going to look at the average here. And it's pretty much stabilized. Like, it's hitting the same 4.5. Looking at these numbers, chat, where we come, I'm comfortable calling it because it's like 4.55, 4.524, 5.24. Actually, the 2.4s balance out with the 4.59s. So this is essentially 4.55. I'm good calling the average of these 6. I'm not trying to open up a spreadsheet, guys. Again, I don't think we need to get that into it. If we're stressing over like 50 megahertz or 1 degrees when we're comparing a $37 versus a $200 cooler, then I think we've lost the plot. But I'm good calling this 4550 megahertz. 4550. So 4550 megahertz. Temperature, so it is still hitting the 95.5 basically. We've got all of these. Okay, now I'm going to turn it up to 100%. And we'll see if that helps the clock speeds at all. It's going to ramp up now. What does a 7500F run at stock on all cores? I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, so I'm gonna reset this. Funnily enough, no, temperature is. I think it's between runs. It has a chance to slightly cool down, but we're still effectively running at 95.5. Clock speeds now are we're seeing 4.6. So is it? Yeah, we've gained 50 megahertz running at way crazier loud fan speeds. We went from 4.55 average across the 6 cores to now I would say a comfortably over 4.6. Barely over 4.6 gigahertz. I'm going to let it do another couple of passes. See if this averages out to anything. But yeah, this is... Oh, does this report the average? Did I not have to do the math? Current instant core clock ratio. This sensor represents group aggregated values, meaning, and the meaning of its value is different. Current actual average value of all aggregated current values. That's actually looking like This is okay. We're gonna use this. This averages it out. I'm dumb. I should have looked at this earlier. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit less than average, but if we separate, and I'm gonna pull out a calculator while we just chill. It's already at 100% load. What? Okay, so 4.6 plus 4.6 plus 4.6 plus 4.5.5 plus 4.6.7 divided by 6. That's not right. $4.603. So it's not the average, but it's pretty dang close to it. It's probably because I didn't put in every decimal point. The need to tweak and tune tells me to buy a 7400F D-Lit. Yeah, once you start, the price difference between the two, I think it's like 10 to 20 bucks. The market has kind of shifted on these, so we can take a look in a second. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to taking apart this, taking the AIO off to put the other one on. But okay, I'm gonna run the average one more time. So we're at 95.5. We're still maxed out. Yeah, we're looking at. Come on, give it a minute or two. Running the fans at max speeds. Because what do we have? 455? Yeah. It's still running basically at that same. I know in between runs it'll change up a bit, but yeah. For the most part, during the middle of the run, we're seeing roughly the same numbers. So, or close enough to call it the same numbers. So I think we're good here. Ambient is still the same, 22.1. I don't know if there's anything else I want to do with this. What I'm curious to see is what the ambient is going to be with the Dark Flash cooler. Because if there's any difference at all in terms of quality or cooling capability, the ambient's going to be changed. And, yeah, I don't know if we're going to see much of a frequency difference between the two. What's the package power? Package power, I mean, on average, 67. I'm going to lower it. So this is with it at 100%. I'm going to lower it. Yeah, I guess we can start like trying to throw as much parameters to like log as possible. Okay, so this is package power. We'll call it 67.1. We're going to round it. So we'll go back down to 50%. Because once I take the Corsair cooler off, we're not going to be able to pull any more data. So just trying to get anything to differentiate the two. Yeah, that's accurate enough. It's staying at roughly 67. I'm not sweating 0.1 watts. All right, I just want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty stable at 67 plus or minus 1 watts, which is good enough for what we're doing here. Okay, we'll go back to 50% speed. We'll see if anything changes with regards to if it's less comfortable pushing as much power into the chip. Okay, so now it's cool, quote unquote, cooling down. I want to look at these clock speeds again. Oh, the test stopped running. Let me rerun the test. I was about to say, like, why is it now sitting at a happy 455? From the temps, I thought it was pulling more power. Nah, that's just what happened. All core workloads can warm up a CPU a lot. Not many people, unless you're like purposefully stress testing, or I guess, I don't know, compiling or even video editing and rendering doesn't max out the, at least not like when I'm doing Premiere Pro stuff. I don't see it that maxed out. But yeah, throwing a synthetic all-core workload can really crank up the temperatures regardless. Even if this wasn't a 7400F, even if it was like the 7500F or any other CPU, you can get really, really warm. So taking a look at this again. I'm curious as to why it's pulling 95. Well, specifically this 7400F, I chose it because I wanted to choose something that runs hot. But apparently it runs too hot even for a Corsair 360 AIO. But this CPU in particular, it was the manufacturing process and I guess the design of it, you could call it, of how they attach the IHS is not ideal. It's not soldered. So we look at these numbers. Yeah, it's 455, 455, 45, 4525. Okay, let's look at the core package. 66. So clock speeds, it does look like there's a slight difference. Like we can, since we're doing it again, we can put like 4.5. Yeah, this is actually closer to 4.52. So there is a slightly different clock speed between when we max out the fan speed and not. And the package power seems to have decreased by what? 1 watt? What was that? 66.5 is what we're going to call it. Let me get a 1 minute average. Temperature's already topped off. But it's looking like right here. Oh no, see, it's back up to 67. So there is no difference. Max fans or not. There is a difference, but it's, in my opinion, in the noise level. It's not worth it's not worth concerning yourself over what the difference is when it's within 1 watt of each other and within like 50 megahertz of each other. It's also in a fish tank case. I was originally gonna do this test outside, just like on top of my table. So the testing conditions are gonna be the same between the two AIOs. And none of the other fans are running. Let me see if I can show. Man, how long is it gonna take me to install this annoying freaking AIO. But yeah, so I've disabled all the other fans because these are all like running on IQ. And when I take off this cooler, because it is IQ link, I didn't want to like have to mess with reattaching things. So we are truly just running AIO pulling in ambient air, and none of the other fans are doing any work. So when we put this thing in, it's going to be the exact same test conditions. So yeah, fish tank or not, it's it's kept consistent. Okay, I mean, we're looking at 40, yeah, 67.24. Okay, so like 0.1 watt difference. 452 average clock speed. So I think this is all the numbers that we need. And then we're going to go to the dark flash one. Let me copy and paste this down here. And with dark flash, I'm going to have to use fan control. Let me delete all these numbers so I don't... Oh my god. I mean, I'm guessing the temperature and the load is going to be the same, but... Okay. Alright, we're good. We're going to shut down. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this. Okay, I will change... Okay, you guys have the right angle. Update and restart. Oh my god. Windows. What AIO was $37? The dark flash one. Oh, I guess I should put a link to it. It's actually in the description. Let me move it towards the top. $38. Yeah, let me move it to the top of the list. I posted the deals that we got last week, but I think the 9800 XTD stayed on sale for a little bit longer. Or 7800 XTD. Yeah, so this was the cooler, and what the heck, where did it just go? So this went on sale last week during Big Prime Day deal. Oh, what? No featured offers anymore. Okay, never mind. Maybe it did go away. On Friday, I looked. So after the Prime Day deals was over, I looked, and the price of this was the same. So yeah, they got us. Give me a quick guess at what's in stream submissions while it updates. How can I guess? Can I get a clue? When do we get Nerd on a Game channel? Nobody wants to watch me game. Trust me. Anytime I used to game on stream in the past, viewership tanked. Like if I turned on games right now, if I started gaming, don't you love when Windows tells you, or when you tell Windows to update and restart, and shut down? It just updates and restarts. That's like the ongoing meme that people complain about. Oh, okay. Laptops. 4 laptops. What is 4 laptops? I can... Zero clue, Chris. Unless we talked about something, which I don't think we did recently, regarding laptops. What up, Cruiser? Did you notice some items are cheaper after Prime sale? No, I did notice some of the items were still on sale afterwards. I didn't notice any specific items get cheaper afterwards. I just ran my CPU out of curiosity about the same Cinebench R23 score on 14 cores though. What do you have, Star? 14 cores? You on like a Xeon something? Also, do you love dealing with Microsoft killing Windows 10 to force people to buy a new PC? Yeah. Well, I think who is it? Gamers Nexus recently talked about it in a video. Microsoft extended Windows 10's effective life in European countries or something like that, right? Which is kind of weird. Region specific end of life dates for software. And not just any software. We're not talking like DJI and like GoPro or, stuff like Windows PCs. That, I don't know. I feel like given how many businesses and schools and just people use them for personal computing, that's kind of a huge, I guess, like demographic that's being hit by, if you live in a certain country, your Windows 10 works for a little bit longer with security updates and stuff like that and patches. I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely scumbag Microsoft behavior. All right, chat. Laptops. Any more clues for it? What clues for laptops? I mean, aside from like a carrying case, if it's specific to laptops, like what accessories do you have specific to a laptop? All right, now I can finally or here, I can show you the test bench. It restarted. It didn't just shut down like I. Oh my god, are you kidding me? I'm about to just shut down. I'm not about to do these updates. We ain't got time for this. I got dinner to eat. I got twins to feed. Come on. All right, we're just gonna take a look at it while we wait for this thing to actually shut down. Stream submissions. I want to see Danny and chat guess what this is. No spoilers in Discord. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Knowing this immediately made me proud, made my knees hurt. I mean, if I had to guess, what would this be for? Just by looking at the shape of it and the connectors, see, those don't look like. I'm thinking, not IDE. What would this be? Some kind of expansion card. You don't know, expansion or an adapter. Like, this just looks like something for storage. SATA to parallel? Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Wait, where's the SATA on it, though? I wasn't sure if this looked like too many pins for IDE. I haven't. Okay, let me look at what IDE. That's why I guessed. Connector. How many pins are in IDE? I have not seen one in a long time. Okay, I'm not counting all of that. But does that look? Yeah, doesn't this look like? Oh, I need to move this. PCMCIA to Express card adapter. Okay, so yeah, never would have guessed it. What year was this like prevalent in? Okay, we gotta get this cooler out, and then we gotta get this other cooler in, like as soon as possible, because, and I was just so that you guys know consistency wise, when I installed this, I did use the little spatula. I used a cute little plastic spatula thing to make sure I got like the whole CPU covered, so that that wouldn't be one of the variables that could throw off temperatures, even though we did hit max. But yeah, maybe it was a poor choice on my end to use a 7400F. To be honest, I didn't. We're sitting at 50 idle, so I think the idle temperature is going to tell us most of what we need to know. I guess I should have looked at idle temperature with fans at 100%. See? It's too late. I'm taking this apart. We can't get that number. We're only going to have idle temps at, I guess, reasonable fan speeds. I don't think it would be reasonable for anyone to run fans at 100% at idle. So that would have just been to get the numbers. And I'm going to do this vertically because I don't feel like turning the computer on its side. Okay. I gotta wipe this clean so I don't make a mess everywhere. Thermal paste, if it gets on your clothes, you're screwed. Basically, the stains do not wash off. You can get the thermal paste off, but it'll always leave a gray mark. Okay. And yeah, so I just need to detach these from their screws. Isn't this the worst part about building with an AIO? I guess if you're putting it in like with the case right side up, if it was sideways it wouldn't be as bad, but having to hold this big ass radiator in place while unscrewing with one hand, and then when you put it up to like try to align it and screw it in and stuff. Okay. Oh wait, this is held in place because of the link cables. I didn't even have to hold it that much. Okay, so let me undo these link connectors. My goodness, so many different things. All right, we got this off, but that's the easy part. Now we gotta take off the freaking standoffs and all of that. And you make sure I don't lose these thumb screws. Now, could you imagine? This is why I don't test AIOs. And I'm so thankful for the channels that do. Because, can you imagine doing this for like 20 different coolers? Let me wipe off the thermal paste on the CPU. Okay. Yeah, no, like any of the channels that do it, hats off to them. Because I would lose my mind. Oh my god. This motherboard is the MSI Project Zero board. So all the connectors are on the back side through all of the power supply cable. Oh my goodness. This was not thoroughly planned out. Oh my. Of course it had to be that I have to install an AIO with all these connectors on the back side. Why? I am curious to hear the noise levels though. And to see what the pump speeds are, which hopefully gets picked up. It should get picked up in fan control. If I can hand screw these in, my goodness. Come on, hand tighten, let's go. Oh my god. 2 screws. That's all we're doing. That's enough to hold a radiator in place. 2 screws, 1 on each corner. That's the level of jank we get to in order to save time. Because I'm just going to be taking it off anyways. So we got 2 screws holding it in place. Okay. Gotta get this thing. Gotta put the standoffs in. Can I zoom? Let me see. Let's look at the zoom quality of, does this work? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now you guys can, oh my goodness. Somewhat see me working closer in here. We gotta put the standoffs. We got the AMD standoffs. Why does he... I don't think I really need to lay the case down. If anything, laying the case down makes it harder because I do need to access the backside to plug everything in. In this case, I don't think laying it down would help me out. Which way does this go in? Did this thing come with a manual? I'm not seeing it. No manual? Who needs the manual anyways, right? I just need to know which, because these standoffs, you can't really see them. They're not symmetric, and both threads screw in. Oh, actually, no. That side doesn't. Okay, we got it. Okay, let's go. Come on. I think this might be quicker than I thought. I have a turning table, but let me show you what's going on back here. I think a turning table, I would have to disconnect everything, and I'm not trying to do that. Like, a turning table, if you're building a PC, just by itself is fine, but I've got everything, like, connected, like, you know, all the monitor and all of this stuff, and I have the streaming going to the PC. So, like, if this is on a turntable, the wires will be tugging on it and stuff, so it wouldn't be as ideal as, like, if I was just building a fresh PC before anything is plugged in. And I think taking the time to unplug everything and replug everything in, it's not that bad to build vertically, actually. So, if this was an Intel, AIO, that would be more of a pain because you would have to remove the back plate. This being AMD, I don't have to do that. And bam, that just goes right there. Yeah, Intel would be horrible. I like AMD because it uses the hardware that's already included on the motherboard for pretty much every single cooler. Unlike Intel that has like this garbage. So, alright, this, make sure to peel. You guys are seeing this, right? I'm peeling. Making sure that occurs so I don't goof. Yeah, this is the same. Oh, what am I doing? That does not go through there. There you go. Okay. Okay, tubes. Which direction do these tubes want to go? Huh? Like this with this fit? It's kind of tight. It's kind of tight. But I think this works. This might bend it too much. Actually, no, this works too. AMD is more user-friendly. Some AMD use it 2 or 4 AIO screws. Okay, I need to use the same thermal paste that I used previously, which is wha-bam! Look at this thing compared to a screwdriver. I don't know how long I've had this thing, but It's all I use. Good old Arctic MX4. Get it spread to all the corners. Okay, I'll put the rest on the block so it will squeeze outwards. Get coverage. Okay. I'm just gonna put it like this. Oh, I need the thumb screws. Intel has the perfect mounting solution on sockets 2011 B3, and I'm sad they never brought it to the mainstream. Can you post a picture of it in the Discord server, the stream submissions, Chris, so that to save me time, and then I'll pull it up after we get this thing up and running. Okay. Okay, I need a third screw. I need a third screw up here. Two of them is just way too. You need a triangle. You need a 2D plane coverage for the fasteners. A straight line from point to point is not enough to hold it in place sturdy. Alright, there we go. Okay. Get these hand tight, and then you screw them in a crisscross pattern. Okay. That is maybe the bulk work. Now I gotta find the connectors for the RGB and for the fan headers. Okay. Give me a second. Let me zoom out. Where's my phone? Oh, whoops, that's a bad angle. Test bench. Okay. Fan pump. Where's the pump? System fan. Alright, looks like... Oh, wait. There's the pump. Pump fan, yes. Aha. Okay, so I basically got this thing up and running, but I do want to find the RGB connectors just so we can see what it looks like. But yeah, the fan headers, I'll just do the ones at the top of the motherboard. So finding them behind wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it would be. But to get the RGB, those might not be located near the fan headers on this motherboard. We'll have to see. Okay, yes. What are we doing here? Throw all this in the back here. Just whatever. Okay. So CPU fan 1 and pump. So that'll be easy to find. All right, where are you, RGB? There you are. Ah. Oh, I found you. Okay. We got it. I am 100% confident that on first try, everything will be plugged in correctly. Which is kind of surprising, given this is the AIO, and AIOs in general suck. If I can get this RGB, oh my god. Lining up an RGB connector, most difficult task. All right, we did it. Let me show you guys front row view of it powering on. All right, here we go. It got a little bit warmer in here. Now it's 22.5, so we'll note that, even though it's still less than a degree, so it shouldn't be too crazy. All right. Ooh, look at them fans and that. Oh, sorry for the lag. I don't know why Droid Cam lags so much, but you get the point. All right, it looks pretty. Oh, for the thing, yes, tower coolers with fans. Tower style coolers is what I meant, not just a tower passively cooling. All right. Let's see if this works. Ooh, this is seemingly quiet, but we have to set the correct fan speeds and pump speeds. Okay, so we have all this in here. Ambient is now 22.5, which I don't know if 0.4 degrees, I'm not stressing about. MSI center, go away. All right, we gotta get fan control up and running. It's gonna want to detect stuff. I think I can just ignore that though. Let me get hardware info up. All right, so we are on this section now, down here. Okay, come on, fan control, where you at? Still thinking real fast. To get sensor data, oh, I did not install this yet, okay. Yeah, sure. Assisted setup, no. I'm okay. I don't need assisted setup. Look at the GT1030. It doesn't even have fans. But okay. Pump fan. Let me just make sure. Where is... I'm using the system fan. Let me mess with this real quick. How come it's not reading the... it should read the RPMs. Let me take a look at hardware info. Let me see on the motherboard if it gives me any RPM information for each of the headers. Let's see. CPU and pump. What? Those... Oh, did I misspeak for what I plugged it into? I plugged it into... Oh, yeah. CPU fan and pump fan. Okay, so that is correct. Nope, that is correct. Please stop. Is there a USB connection disconnection sound? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just turn off the volume on the test bench. I don't know. I didn't even realize that was going through. I didn't know the sound, the capture card was picking that up. Wait, GT1030 can be passive? Yeah. The one I have is passive. It's the EVGA one. I'll show it to you real quick. But yeah, it's that one. So, yep, no fan on it. Yeah. What on earth is disconnecting and reconnecting? It might be... So I've got like this hub on. It might be whatever's connected to this... Whatever. This is a cheap Amazon hub that I use to like connect keyboard and mouse in the wireless receiver and stuff like that. Just so that I can only, or I only have to plug one thing in instead of like multiple whenever I'm running a test bench. I'm guessing it's this because this one is a power cable to this monitor. So it's not using it for data. So I'm thinking it has to be this. But yeah, sorry about that. If you guys were asking about that earlier, I apologize if it was going on for like ever. I'm going to end the poll. Okay. So we've got CPU and pump. Okay, man. So we're going to run the pump at 100. Just to see how fast it... Oh my god. Wait. Let me check this out real quick. Because right now it's saying the pump at 100 is about 4,000 RPM. I'm going to round it because I don't think it's the most... I'm just curious compared to the Corsair, which is running at like 2,800 RPM. That's a big difference in pump speeds. All right, so yeah, so 4,000. I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna run it at the minimum. I wonder if the pump just stops because on the Corsair one through IQ, at least on quiet mode. So now, so at the minimum speed through fan control at least, it's about 3,700 RPMs. Let's see if it keeps. No, it's gone as low as 3,700. Yeah, so the range of it from, it's probably like programmed to always at least be running, so you don't screw up either the AIO or your system. So yeah, we're just gonna run it at 100%, but the range is like 3,700 to 4,000. So we're gonna run it at fixed, and then CPU fan speeds. So what is the fan speed at 50%? Is about 1,050 about. So they run slower than the Corsairs. They might be quieter. For the pump, no, the pump is PWM. It's the connector, and there's four wires on the cable. And then let me see what 100%. Okay, so yeah, about 1,050-ish. Let me ramp up the fans. See if you guys can hear it. Okay, max speed. Oh, interesting. 1,750 RPM. So the range of fan speed is 1,750. Let me make sure. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit longer. Yeah, 1,750 is where it basically a little bit. Is it gonna reach 1,800 actually? If it's like 1,760, I'm gonna call it 1,750. Yeah. It's looking like 1,750. Okay. So compared to the Corsair, shoot, did I not? I knew it. I didn't log what the Corsair's 100% fan speed equivalent was. But 50% speed is less, so and you notice how 50% and 100, it's not like 2,000, it doesn't double. I'm actually not sure how accurate all these software are working together. I would think Corsair is pretty accurate, but fan control, being open source, and then with hardware info supposedly pulling directly from the motherboard, I don't know. Like if I turn this to 0, let me test this real fast. Does it turn it off? I think it is actually turning off. Yeah, so 0, I think the fans are spinning down. But the RPMs we just saw from 50 to 100, it does not scale linearly. Oh, wait, no? Come on, I can't tell if it's residual spinning or... No, I think at 0, okay, that's probably why. 0 is... I'm pretty sure in Corsair's IQ software, when you turn it to 0% speed, it actually turns it off. But for this one, oh, is it because of the CPU? I think it's because I plugged it into the CPU header and not the system header, which probably does not let you turn it all the way down, but I think we should be okay. I don't think I need to turn it to plug it into the system. Is that a third-party app for fan control? Yeah, this is the one that like I feel most people are using because Speed Fan stopped being a thing many years ago. Let me see. Is there another fan header nearby? There is not. I think we should be good though. Wait, no, there is one. Come on, why is my flashlight not working? Okay, actually, we're gonna move it. Yeah, we're gonna move it. Okay, we're in system now. I wonder. Okay, I updated. Sweet. I was about to say, like, did I have to shut down? Okay, let me retest that again. So system at 100. What are we looking at? Oh wait, no, that's CPU. Sorry. Now I gotta go to system fan manual. Okay, I think it's gonna be the same speeds. I'm actually pretty sure because that was 40 at 60%. So system fan at 100%. It's about 1750 RPMs like we saw earlier. Yep, and then at 0. I'm curious if system fan is allowed to go to 0 and completely turn the fan off though. And it does. Yep, the fan spun down. So if I go to 50% now, this should be more accurate. This should give me about 5. No. It should give me 875 RPMs about. Okay, it tried. 50% is about 1050. No, it's the same. Huh. Why is it not linear? I just set the fan speed in the BIOS. I typically do the same thing too, but BIOS doesn't always get captured on the capture card. Plus, making manual changes for what we're doing here on the fly, like if I had to restart the computer every single time, there's no way. Okay, let me log down out. So it's actually 22.3 C now. Idle CPU temp at 50% speed. Oh my god. Wait. You guys seeing this? Oh my god. People are gonna say I either rigged this or my thermal paste application wasn't right with the Corsair or something. We're sitting at like 3.5 degree lower idle temps. Okay, let me think this through real quick. Because the cheaper cooler is already winning. No, dude. This, if it was 50 degrees, then whatever. If anything, I would have guessed I put less, like, a worse thermal paste application because I had to do this. When I prepared the AIO block, I was very meticulous about it and everything. But we're running 3.5 degrees lower. Wait, what? Yeah, 46.5. I'm gonna let it sit for a bit, but I think we're pretty much averaging that. I'm not gonna have time. See, what's gonna happen is when you get results like this that look questionable, what you have to do is put back in the Corsair and see if it really was 50-degree temps at idle. But I'm not gonna have time. We're already 2 hours in the stream. We got to finish this off. Maybe next week I can have the Corsair in, or maybe I can do it on my own time then report back. But okay, we're filling this out. Idle noise level. Give me 1 second. Let me measure this. Yeah, it's 45. Like ever so slightly quieter, supposedly. Remember, this isn't super scientific, so with how much noise that is potentially going on, just like in my basement and like upstairs and stuff, the 0.5 decibels, I would call that a wash. Okay, temperature under load. Well, if this is really 3.5 degrees cooler at idle, we might see improvements during when we run it. Oh wait, yeah, no CPU fan. Okay, pump. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, we're running this in a bench. Send it. Windows update change your idle temperature. I don't think the update was happening the entire time though. Like once Windows downloads and did its thing, like we were sitting we were sitting like we're doing the Cinebench and all that stuff for a long time. Unless Windows happens to exactly like take that long, which I don't think it would have. Like once Windows did its update and it finished, it wouldn't have been running any background tasks. It was just waiting for the restart. So it could be that. So I will go back and test the Corsair. But I don't think 3.5 degree difference. I don't know. I can't see Windows doing that. Because it was sitting at 50 for a while we were configuring everything, right? Like I was taking down the data, opening up hardware info, talking about stuff. Like for the Windows update to just happen to take longer than the amount of time till we spun it up. That I'm gonna write that down. Windows update, but we'll see. All right, let's take a look at this. What is this? We were for sure reaching. Oh wait, I gotta run the 10 minutes. Sorry. It's probably gonna max out at 95.4. Is this a bigger radiator? Yeah, let me see what the thicknesses are. I don't... It didn't look particularly thick. But we will see. Oh, wait. Does it say it on the box? What am I doing trying to measure this? Alright. Radiator. While this is running. Yeah, pump speed 4,000 plus or minus 10% RPM. Radiator size 52.2? No way. 52.2 is the thickness of the radiator. What's the Corsairs? Let me look on Corsair real fast. Corsair Elite Capellix 360 AIO. What is this one? Specs. The Corsair is... Wow. This one... Wait. This did not feel like 50, because that is thick. No, something's wrong. No. I don't believe these dimensions. 52.2 millimeters? Isn't that like 2 inches? Let me get a second ruler to check. There's no way. This thing is not 2 inches. This thing isn't even one... okay, it is... This thing is like 1 inch, which would be 25.4. Is this thing lying? It is counting the pump part. Yeah, you're right. So it really is the same radiator thickness. Yeah, the pump part over here. Isn't that kind of cheating? I feel like that's cheating. Because it says radiator, not the pump part of the radiator. Like, most people think radiators where the fins and stuff sit. Yeah, no, you're right. Because that is 2 inches, including that, which would be 54. Otherwise, it's the same thickness, about, what is this, 27? Yeah, versus... Yeah, they're roughly the same. Maybe like a millimeter different. It depends if it's clearance or just size. Well, if you're... it doesn't really make sense for it to give... see... The fact that it says radiator size and not AIO size... If it says AIO size, which includes the fans, which if you look at this, that pump part in the fans, that would be the number that you would use for clearance, right? Like, I understand needing to know, I guess, the thickness of the radiator plus the thickness of the fan, which is what this is, and this is that 54 they were talking about. But I don't know, that's just kind of strange how they listed it as radiator specifically, because this as a whole is not a radiator. At least not... That's not what I would call a radiator. I would call this radiator and fan. So that it's... I don't know. That's just like a technicality, but still. Yeah, I was about to freak out for a second because 54 made no sense because it didn't feel like one. Okay, temperature-wise, I mean, if we look at this, right? I reset the thing. On average, yeah, come on, run the thing. It's like 0.2 or 0.3 degrees cooler than the Corsair. And we're not even running, actually, at 100% fan speed. Oh, sorry. What are we looking at? Thank you, Peckish. Okay, look at these temperatures. It was easily maxing out at 95.5, 95.4 earlier. And this is a running average. We'll let it run for a little bit, like a few more cycles, but it's not a huge difference, but the fact that it's even slightly winning at all or even equal to it, I guess I'm not too surprised. For me, like, what will determine how well an AIO works? Fan and fan speeds, mostly fan speeds, I would say. Even the crappiest fan, as long as it has some kind of scoop. If it's spinning fast enough, it's going to move air through. Pump, I mean, how much better can one pump be next to another one? It just helps the water circulate through. And then radiator dimensions and thickness and stuff like that. I don't know how much better a company can make, you know, given the same or similar specs, one AIO over the other. Now, Arctic... they have like thicker radiators in their Arctic freezer line, which actually helps make a difference, and they have a lower price, which people like. So I can't say I'm too surprised that this is performing basically within the same level as the Corsair. I will say, to be fair to Corsair though, the link, like IQ link system, is just like godsend. It kind of sucks that they probably have the patent to it, because I wish every manufacturer that made every component had a universal cable that can hook everything up to a hub and just make it work without the additional need for separate RGB versus fan cables and individual cables for each fan and stuff. But okay, well, I mean, it's not really changing. So temperature under load 95.2 versus the 95.5. So we're slightly winning. Frequency under load 4. Wow. Yeah, okay. 4646. We're pretty much at almost 465 across all of these, except for this one core 0. You got 465, 465, 465. I'm just gonna call it 465. And then package power. Let's see if it's package power 74, and this isn't even with the fan spun up yet. So now you can see why I'm questioning my Corsair results. Even though I swear to God, I mounted that thing and put enough thermal paste. 74.4. Sure, 74.4. It's running, because it's not actually reaching 95.5. It's like barely there at the temperature limits. It's allowing it to push more power through it and get reach higher frequencies. Hey, what's up, Mr. Mini Meme? Why are temps so high? The temps are so high because of the 7400F. That's why. Now, wait for me to run. Okay, I think we're good with these numbers, right? I'm going to run it at 100% fan speed and see if that changes anything. All right, let's crank it up. And let me get the new noise levels. Yeah, 49.6. Is this quieter than the Corsair? This is much quieter. And it's the fans that is making that noise. And yeah, I can tell that it's quieter too. You guys might be able to tell that it's quieter. I don't know. Do you remember what the Corsair sounded like? If you hadn't adjusted your volume since then? You would have to hear it side by side. Yeah, oh, you can hear the difference. Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Look, it was 56 or 56.7 decibels versus under, like, exactly or close to 50. So there's a pretty noticeable difference because, you know, decibels are logarithmic and all that stuff, but it's kind of hard to put that, like, it's hard to conceptualize that without actually hearing it. But it is quieter. Temperature under load. Let's take a look now. So maybe we ignore the temperature because I think what's happening is there's an amount of space that the BIOS allows the CPU to run at. Like it's not going to hold it at a constant temperature. It's probably like fluctuating up and down within a degree, because what we're seeing here, I'm going to reset it again and let me make sure this is still running. Oh, this stopped. That's why. Let me restart this. Yeah. Let me start this again, and then we can. Yeah, I should just run the 30-minute stability test. I don't know why I'm running the throttling test. I think they're the same thing. It's just one runs for longer. Okay. Why would it run that hot? Yeah, peckish. Oh, I guess you must have missed the early part of the stream. They don't solder these. The 7400F uses straight up like thermal paste between the die and the IHS, whereas a 7500F or pretty much every other, I think, I don't know of any other AMD AM5 CPUs that run thermal paste as opposed to soldering it. for better heat transfer. But okay, so this is 95.4. We'll let it run for like a minute, I guess, but I'm not stressing about a point something to 0.2 degree difference. Would it make it that giant of a difference? It would when you're running all core workloads like this. It's fine when you're gaming and browsing and stuff like that, but when you run every single core and thread to 100%, you could really hit that temperature limit real fast. Like when you're gaming, I was showing earlier in the stream, because I tested the CPU. During gaming, it runs like 70 degrees, you know, running like Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, things like that. Counter-Strike, just all the AAA games and stuff, it doesn't hit 90 degrees. And I think that's the biggest difference between like synthetic testing or synthetic stress testing and benchmarking versus what people do day to day. Not everyone puts a workload like this on their CPU. Hardware Canucks did a 360 AIO shootout yesterday. What perfect timing. No Dark Flash. Without even seeing the video, and I think someone mentioned in the Gamers Nexus one on last week's stream, the difference between the best and the worst AIO is, they said it was like 5 degrees or something if you take out the outliers that had like clear problems. But even if this Dark Flash was included in it, what I would say is I would pick my AIO based on price and features, which for the most part, there's not many different features between AIO to AIO. Like a lot of them are starting to daisy chain stuff to clean up cable management. I think the one standout factor from Corsair is their link like ecosystem. It is amazing. Is it $200 versus $37 AIO amazing? That's really hard to justify in my opinion. Like, I feel like they should definitely charge a premium for the IQ link. But $200 when this thing performs basically the same. Alright, I mean, we're averaging 95.2. And we've been averaging this for like 3 minutes now. Oh, 95.3? Maybe we do wait. But the current, I would let the average run up higher if the current was also running higher. But I think this is just kind of fluctuating up and down a little bit now. So I'm comfortable calling it 95.3. So the ambient is 22.2. So it cooled down in the room somehow, probably because of the moving air on my thermometer. Temperature under load. So yeah, 95. Oh nope, it dropped back down to 95.2. Decibels. Frequency now is 467. Oh my god. And package power is 75. So it went up a little bit. Okay. Let's summarize these results real quick. The Dark Flash. Let's look at just the Dark Flash results right now. I'm in the way. Let me move this to the center. Sorry, guys. I am totally in the way. Let me clear this. What's the funny number? Oh, 6.7? Oh, my God. I saw people at my Costco, the workers, 6.7 came up, and the person who was packing and the person checking us out were, like, making jokes about 6.7, and I cannot believe the level of, like, how much that has spread. The first time I heard about 6.7 was during the Linus collab when Tech Joyce said it, but I had no idea what it was. And now I'm seeing 6.7 everywhere. And if there's 6.7 in a YouTube video, you're going to see 6.7 in the comments, on a Twitter thread, on Reddit. It's just people, I cannot believe they have made the number 6.7 or the combination of number 6.7 as notorious as it has gotten. But okay, let's look at these numbers. For the Dark Flash, the noise level went up a decent amount between the 100% between 50 and 100% fan speed, which makes sense. Temperature wise, also idle 95.2, 95.2. So it basically hit the limit on both situations, but we did see a slightly higher package power when it was running at 100% fan speed, as if that slight edge in cooling capability let the CPU pull more power, and the frequency, I mean, this is kind of a wash. 20 megahertz, I'm not stressing about that. But between Dark Flash $37 cooler and Corsair $200 cooler, we saw big differences. I mean, package power, we're not talking about like 1 or 2 watts here. We're talking about 8 watts. And frequency was a whole 100-ish megahertz. Fan noise, 5 decibel difference between the two. So this makes me question. Sorry, Shauner's message was blocking this, but this now makes me question my AIO install for the Corsair. So I don't have time to put the Corsair back in here, but I will have it set up for next week at the start of stream. We're going to quickly go straight into the 100% results and see if we can get something different, because this makes me seem like I installed it wrong. And if I had to put money on it, I would say I installed it correctly. So why it was such a big difference? I mean, it wasn't such a big difference, because if we look at the results again, of course, the 100% fan speed was pretty bad because it was so loud. But let's say we look at the 50 to 50, which is what, 40 noise. Oh, I don't have the 50% noise level because I'm stupid. Oh no, the 50% noise level is oh, do I need to get the 50 on this one? Yeah, because it was 45.4 idle noise. 46. Oh no, I got it. I got it. It's this right here. Let me just put this here so it makes sense. The idle and load noise level is the same because it's a fixed 50. So, yeah, we look at the 50% runs. Let me see real quick. So, 67. Yeah, I mean, it was still an 8 watt difference over 100 megahertz. Noise levels were about the same, 45 decibels. So, how is this Dark Flash running that much better? It does have a bigger... You think pump block makes a difference? Let me look at the Corsair pump block. Actually, this thing's pretty big too. I would say, though, because this is an LCD screen... Let me pull this off. Danny, when he heard the 6-7 reference, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. Yeah. So, this thing... Can I pop this off? Oh, wait. This one doesn't come off. Whoops. But we know there's an LCD here. Look at this block. Look at how thick it is. Remember how tall and thick that one was when I pulled it out? And I held it in front of the camera. Let me see if I can show you from the side. I don't know if like the water block chamber itself being deeper and be more voluminous, that would make a difference, but let me see if you can see. I mean, it's like, how do I show this? Can I put a ruler up to it? It's like a solid 1.5 inch thick. We don't count the silver part. Oh my god, why is this lagging? We don't count the silver part because that's just decorative. But I would say the black part, okay, 1.5 versus the Corsair is like maybe one inch. So I don't know, because aside from that, it's hard for me to believe that the Dark Flash fans would be that much better. The radiator itself, they're about the same dimensions. Like the pump speeds, though. What were the pump speeds? 4,000 versus 2,800. It could be that. Yeah, the Dark Flash pump speed ran at 4,000 RPM. Corsair was like less than three quarters that speed, 2,800. So the rate at which it could evacuate like the water or like move water through, I don't know. See you later, Pete Dunn. How old was the Corsair? Like 2 years, if that. And I don't use it like a ton. I use it when I'm doing GPU benchmarks and sometimes like CPU benchmarks that are AM5. But I wouldn't think that it would have had any like, evaporation issues or anything like that. Swap the fans, bro. That's asking for a lot. Swapping 3 fans, 4 screws each. Um, I'm gonna put the Corsair back in on my own time because I gotta end stream within the next 5 minutes. I'll do the Corsair. I'll look at the results, and I'll have the system running next to me, so we can look at it together on next Wednesday. But and yeah, what were the fans? The Corsair fans spun faster. Or at least at 50%. So I would assume 100% would run faster too. Yeah, the Corsair fan speed was slightly faster. And unless, the scoop of them is that different, the results were kind of surprising. That the package power difference, keeping everything else the same. Yeah, I don't know. Do both sets... let me see. Do both sets of fans have 7 blades or 9? Pull fans? What do you mean by pull fans? I'm gonna shut the system down. Okay, so this shouldn't be going anywhere. Let me take a look at the fans. Well, yeah, so the Corsair is 7 blades, and they're pretty scooped. And it kind of like pressure fans, right? Because they're having to push through the fins. But let me see the Dark Flash ones. This would be what most companies would call pressure fans versus airflow fans. Let me look at the Dark Flash ones. Dark Flash has much more fans. If this can show you without lagging, or more blades, they do look pretty scooped as well though. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 9. Yeah, so 9 blades, but not as like shallow of a scoop as I've seen with like Arctics and stuff. Can you see this? Well, you probably can't tell like the degree of scoop, I guess. Maybe you can. But I mean, they look like they would what I would normally, see are called pressure fans. Just it has more fan blades. But I guess, what are your guys' guesses? Because I do not think I mounted the block on incorrectly for the Corsair. I am confident I bottomed out the screws and I had an adequate amount of thermal paste. If anything, with better coverage than the Dark Flash, because I wasn't doing it on stream in a hurry. I prepared it last night. So, I don't think it's that. Yeah, fan pitch. There you go. That's what we were looking for, the word. Yeah, fan pitch. Most AIOs I'm seeing these days have 7 blades. Yep, I think the lower blade count pushes more through the radiator pressure, but in the Corsair's case, it did not help it win. Based on the fan position, its compression, meaning it's pressurizing air into the fins and radiator, adding temps due to how it works. Wait, adding temps. It's pressurizing the air into the fins in the radiator. Yeah. Well, this is chemistry. PV equals nRT. If everything else is the same, if pressure goes up, temperature goes up. Assuming the amount of stuff is the same and all that stuff. I don't know if that would apply here though, because this is kind of an open system, if you know what I'm talking about. PV equals nRT works in like a pressure chamber when the pressure goes up and the amount of molecules, everything stays the same. Then temperature goes up, or temperature goes up, then pressure goes up. But for this, we're talking about air going through the fins, and it's like an open system, right? We have like an infinite amount of air all around out here. So, I mean, that could be the explanation. I'm not sure if I ever would have thought of that for a radiator, though, in an AIO. There could be some clogging in the fins after being that old. We can take a look. You're right. Though I don't think... Where's... Oh, I put it down here. Let's take a look. You guys can see it pretty... No, this thing is like pristine. Remember, I use this as a test bench, but it's not running that often. But if you look... it's kind of hard. You can kind of see when I'm doing this, you can see right through it. Like, I would say this is very clean. Yeah, there you go, actually. I would say the clogging would not be a factor because... Wait, how am I doing? I'm trying to make it so that you can see through the whole way. But that gives you an idea of how clean it is. It's pretty... It's pretty clean. Sticker out? Wait, what do you mean by sticker out? Does anyone have any leads on a 5800X3D? Nah. Those things are just stupidly overpriced. I'm actually curious. As long as they stay relevant and keep the AM4, like people who have AM4 motherboards that don't want to, spend a lot to upgrade their whole platform to like DDR5, to a AM5 board and a new chip, I feel like 5800X3Ds are going to stay over $200 on average for a long time. What is their going price right now? On eBay, aren't they closer to like 300? Or am I wrong on that? Yeah, on eBay, if you want to buy it now, the lowest... Oh my god, they're more than 300. Yeah, you can't even... This is so stupid. It makes no sense to build a new system or of a system from scratch with used parts, whatever, with this, because you could get a 7800X3D for the same amount of money. You could get a 9600X, which performs, I think it performs around the same or slightly better for like way less amount of money. So yeah, the secondhand market for X3D 5700 and 5800 X3Ds is so stupid right now. I would like say sell, if you already have a system that's built, just sell it and then build an AM5. I don't know if upgrading from whatever you have to an X3D chip would be the play. It's just too expensive. I know you're on AM4 already. But it's... What chip do you have? I need to get better. Yeah, a 9600X would perform pretty similarly, if not a little bit better than a 5800X3D. We can actually take a look at it. Oh no. I think they did a revisit. GPU scaling. Here we go. And I mean, you're probably paying. Let's see what they have. Let's look at 1440p numbers. So Marvel Rivals, sure. So the fact that with even a 5080 theater mode, you see how a 7600X is on par with it, and a 7600 beats it. That means a 9600 9600X would beat it, and a 9600X is $200. Yeah, so when you are CPU or no, when you are GPU bound, they're all the same. But when you start becoming CPU bound, the AM5 chips. See, the fact that let's see, Marvel Rivals. This is 4K, so these results are like whatever. Yeah, they're pretty neck and neck across a lot of games. I think. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through all the different ones. 4 game average at 1080p. The 7600X edges it out, but then at 1440p, they're almost the same. So you could just get a 7500F as well for even cheaper, but it's really up to you. It costs nearly as much as the 7900 XTD or 9900 XTD on sale. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. The only way you can buy one that I've seen for a reasonable price is in your local market or on hardware swap, because people there are a little bit more reasonable. But even a hardware swap, I think I saw people more recently selling them for like $250, which to me, that's like, you're paying that much money. So you're paying more than a 9600 or 7600X, and you're still keeping yourself like on the AM4 platform. It only makes sense to me if it's under $200. I would not pay more than $200, and even at $200, I'm thinking pretty hard about trying to get a 5800 X3D. I know it's expensive, but you're gonna eventually have to do it anyways. Why drop $200 now and then most likely like in a year or two you're gonna go up to AM5 anyways, right? So 5800 X3D. So Jawa is way more reasonable than eBay, but it's still $325. That price doesn't make sense. And that's the only one on here. There are some systems, I guess, that might have it in it. Nope. I don't know why this even came up when I'm looking at 5800 X3D then. But yeah. What about the 7600 X3D? If you have a micro center near you, otherwise people resell it for kind of stupid prices. Yeah, a 7600 X3D would be better than for gaming 9600X and 7600X. But as you just saw, the non-X3D chips for AM5 are plenty fine. You were looking at a 5800 X3D. That beats it. I forget, 7600 X3D is not that cheap either. Last I saw it from Micro Center, I kind of scratched my head at the price. $300? Like, we just saw $340 7800 X3Ds. To me, this doesn't make sense. Unless you're buying it used for closer to $225 or something. Yeah, I don't know. And this, they're still available, so I guess they haven't run out. Because I think these are going to be pretty limited. This is just failed 7800 X3Ds, right? Which is similar to what we had with the 5700 X3Ds, were kind of like poorly binned 5800 X3Ds. So I don't think these are going to be as like, they're not going to be around for as long, and they're going to, once they dry up, the price is probably going to go up. What are the twins doing? They're chilling upstairs. I don't know. I haven't heard them screaming, so they've been doing good. I built my nephew 1K. Yep, 1K will get you around a 9600X, 9060 XT. That's the most recent, or that white build that I did. Not the most recent build, but the build that I did in all white. I paid a little bit more than $1,000 because of the white aesthetics tax, but if I got all black parts, it was about $1,000. Yeah, AM5. Like 9600 or 7600 if you can get it for a little bit cheaper, 7600X with the 9060 XT is kind of the cookie cutter build. Is it not worth it to build an X99 AliExpress combo because it doesn't have TPM? Right now, I'm still trying to navigate the whole Windows 11 older hardware thing. Like secure boot and TPM. With regards to, I'm hesitant to recommend that stuff to people when games seemingly are moving in a direction where Windows 11 is essentially gonna be like required. And even though you can bypass it and install it, if you don't have those core functions, it's not gonna run. I don't want people to invest $300-$400, even though these are budget builds, into a PC and it can't run like a number of games. So I don't have anything to comment with regards to like the old X99 stuff on AliExpress right now. I guess you have to answer, are you okay? You just have to assume worst case scenario, you will not be able to play the games that require those things. Are you okay with that, the build? Because if you are, then go ahead. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's still kind of too early to tell if like in the next year or two, pretty much every game is gonna require it. So I'm hesitant. I posted. I cannot get to it. Techie Tech next week when we do. I don't know if there's any big news coming up next week, but next week we should have more time because I'm not gonna be fiddling around with trying to like test stuff and like install AIO. So yeah, I gotta show you guys something in general chat real quick, and then I gotta go. What is this? What is that? Is that external SSD? Oh, drive bay. This is an external enclosure, it looks like, and a drive. What are we looking at aside from that? Oh, there's that cooler that you're trying to send me. Out of production but still relevant is a bad place for prices? Yeah, very much so. But again, I would say you I don't know. Not everybody needs an X3D chip. Unless you guys are like professional gamers and you could like the differences in 0.1 and 1% lows are that noticeable to you where you're willing to fork over an extra $150 to $200, just get the non-X3D chip. The modern ones are fine. Not everybody needs an X3D chip. I mean, if you have the money for it, I'm not gonna like, you know, tell you not to, but if you're money conscious at all, the extra money saved can go to so many other things. I would personally throw it into more storage or an upgrade to the next step for a graphics card. The X3D, would you rather have a 7600 X3D with a 9060 XT or a 7600X non-3D with a 9070? So, you want a better graphics card or a better CPU? Because I picked the graphics card. That's going to give you better performance. And you can frame cap the higher FPS that you get to improve your 1% lows as well. So, and your 0.1% lows. I posted, oh, what is it? Oh, you posted what it is. Drive bay. Like a single drive bay, right? Drives 1 terabyte. Oh. Well, I'm seeing not the best lit up pictures here of what looks to be 1, maybe 2 drives. And then this looks like a single drive bay. This does not look like it holds 2 drives. Yes, if you have the money and want the highest FPS in games, go with X3D. If you don't need the highest in gaming because, you know, you're not a pro and it makes no difference to you otherwise. And you have bills to pay and other things. Then save the money and put it towards, you know, bills and stuff. We're going through a recession right now. But all right, guys. I think that's going to be it for this stream. Thank you very much for, you know, going through that whole exercise with me. That was pretty fun. Yeah, those results are it's kind of killing me right now. So I might try to figure it out tonight. But I got to go have dinner first and hang out with the family. So, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend coming up. No video on the docket for this weekend. But I should be in the Discord server. So I will see you guys there. Otherwise, and yeah, I will see you next week. Same time, same place as always for stream. So you guys take it easy. Bye-bye.